Welcome to the first Father and Son podcast in Oklahoma City. I am Jermaine Sr.
I'm JQ.
I'm Corey.
I'm Jay.
And we are Sharp on All Four Corners podcast. And we just like to say welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here with us. This is our very first episode after all of our kinks and things we had to work out. We are here today just because we brought together a podcast that we wanted to make it become our legacy, a part of our family. So as we go about this podcast, we just want to hopefully inspire somebody, motivate somebody in that area. We all are spiritual, mentally, emotionally, and physical. So that's why we're called all sharp on all four corners, because I am the spiritual one. He is the
more emotional one.
And he is
the more mental.
And he is more of the physical one. And so that's how we came about Sharp on All Four Corners. Also, it was influenced by one of my favorite rappers called E40. And he got an album called Sharp on All Four Corners. So I'd just like to give shout out to E40. So today, my sons, I just want to talk about a few things. So I got a few questions I want to ask. And a lot of people may not know, a lot of people may know that there's a time in my life in the last 11 years that I've been a single man raising children alone. And so within that 10-year span or 11-year span, you guys was a part of that. Some of you guys have grown up and moved out and on your own. My question would be to you guys, at that time, what was it like growing up in a two-parent home versus a one-parent home, and it being a dad and not a mom?
Well, the first thing for me was when it was a two-parent home, it was a little different, but it wasn't that much different because when it was a two-parent home, it was still structure. Really wasn't that much difference, but when it was a two-parent home, it just seemed more normal.
Yeah.
And then when it went down to just one parent, it seemed abnormal, but it was still structure. Mm-hmm. And it was still a lot of things that we did when it was a two-parent home.
Gotcha.
So we still went to church. We still got up early, went to school, and
like the same morals we.
Yeah, go ahead. You good?
But kind of to agree with them, the same morals we were raised with, the first part of having both parents, kind of just stuck with us after, and plus like a lot of us were already kind of older, not older, but like we were old enough. You know what I mean? So like the older ones looked out for us. The younger ones, so it was all, like it all kind of just lined itself back out.
Start balancing out,
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was just like we lost a key player.
Yeah, what you think, Carr?
Yeah, for me, like since I was younger, like 7 or 8, I'd say it was kind of a little different. Just one, because I was younger and my mom was like in like PTA and stuff like that, so I just see her, basically all the time.
You was attached to your mom.
Yeah,
for sure.
So then just the transition, I mean, it was like, I wouldn't say it was a big difference, but it was like different getting adjusted to it because, it's just like, it's like hanging with like one of your friends or something like every day, and then you just don't see them anymore, and now it's like, you just have to like go through the adversary and change.
I can say for me it was a great deal of a big difference, right? Mm-hmm. One for me was the responsibilities that were balanced out amongst both of us as the parents initially became all of my responsibility. Right. You know what I mean? So for me it was a major shift, for me.
Especially because like you did your fatherly duties when it was both, but you also had to take on a mother's role too, because we did have Leah, basically a newborn at the time too.
Yeah. I can say now when that statement is made as far as doing motherly duties, I feel like I don't put that on it for me. I just describe it as I had all the responsibility. Okay. Because for me, being the parent I am, and the guy I am, I think I could never be a mom. Like I could never replace that role, right? Like I can never be what a mom could be to you, right?
Exactly.
So I try not to add that in, that I was the mom and the dad. I just say I had all the responsibility as the parent. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but I can see you saying it that way. But from my perspective and my standpoint,
You wouldn't say it.
yeah.
I could say, like, another thing to add to it is not having a mom in the later stages affected me in relationships.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
not like being, because I feel like one thing that just wasn't going to be something you were able to teach us was just like the nurturing side of things that a woman can.
Right, for
You know
sure.
what I mean?
That's why I
So-
say that's why I said that I don't take that role because I couldn't do that. And I think that is an issue for a lot of you guys. Like they would say for a young lady, if she didn't have a father, they would say she would have father issue. I can believe that you guys had a mother issue. You may not recognize it, may not know it, and try not to show it because we're taught to hold everything in. But I know you're able because you're more of the emotional one. You can show your emotions about how you feel and why you feel that way.
Right.
But that's how it was. So I mean, as we move on to the next question, I got a question, and it would be, what is legacy to you? What is legacy to you?
At first, legacy for me was kind of just an afterthought in the back of my head. Like, my legacy would be me just being a man with a lot of money and power, and just things that you would see from, I guess, TV or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But now I would say the more I'm starting to understand life and figuring out who I am, I would say it's more the legacy for me would be creating something of my own, as in whether it's a family,
Mm-hmm.
something that's just generational.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I would just say my legacy is just whatever that I'm able to create
Okay.
and make great out of.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
feel
my
it.
idea of it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, just being into artists and stuff like that, I've just really deep dived into it and started understanding it.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that when I was younger, it was more of just legacy is who I am,
Mm-hmm.
When people see me, they know who I am and they know
Yeah.
what I have or have done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say more for an artist perspective, it'd be more what I could leave behind for, generations or for other people to see and
Yeah.
admire.
Yeah. I feel that.
I could, yeah.
I feel that. What you think, Jay?
But legacy is, for me, it's if you make your legacy, you can make it whatever you want to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
For me, legacy means to leave behind, things like the way you carry yourself, what you did for your family, the way you reacted to certain situations. In every situation, certain things can make you react a certain way or not react a certain way. But I feel like when you become a legend, I feel like you change somebody's life, or multiple people's lives, or
Yeah.
you did something to change the culture of whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Like-
blessing to others.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's just say Michael Jordan. He's a legend.
Because he's a household name, for sure.
He's a household name,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
everybody wanted to be like Mike,
Yeah.
and everybody still wears Jordans to this day.
For sure.
That's a legend. Leaving behind a legacy of somebody who
Leaving behind
who made their
something.
mark
Yeah.
a long time ago, and people are still on that.
Right.
Yeah.
Years later.
Right.
I think
Decades
I
later.
think
Long
using
time.
him as an example is one-sided for me, because one side is he did something that inspired somebody to be great in what you love,
Right.
right? But then on the other side, he don't get a lot of respect for how he did for the culture of his people.
Right.
That's just my opinion of what I've seen, right?
Right.
So I get it. That's why I said it's one-sided for me.
That definitely
But-
can be argued.
Yeah. So legacy to
Sure.
me though is a little bit of all of what you're saying, right? But my main thing is what I try to do is let you guys know that as men and as young gods of the Creator, we here to create things, right? So as we create, what are we creating? So here, what we see now is what my legacy would be to me, because I would want it to go down from next generation, and with that legacy, it will be the information that I give that you can carry on, right? Because you can go out and buy a brand new car every day, but if you didn't teach me how to get it, right, I won't know how to get it. So I'm teaching. My teaching is my legacy. And throughout the years of you guys' life, you all can say that I taught y'all collectively and individually how to become your own man. That's why I like how y'all saying individually, this is what I see legacy. But for me, I see legacy as a group thing, because generations are going to come after you guys, right? So that to me is partial of my initial of a legacy, creating something that the whole family, which is our first community, will build from and grow from. Our first community is us,
Like a
not
generational
outside.
link?
Yeah, like boom, boom, boom. Because you're a different age, you're a different age, you're a different age, right? So that means your children's ages should be different, right? So that means everything that we're going to create from this point now, as you guys are older and can understand life better than you did. Because when you guys were younger, I was trying to put y'all in positions too early, right? To take over, to run the businesses or what have you, take over the household, be the bigger brother, you need to run. That was, you still too young then. But now that you're of a certain age, I believe now the understanding is bigger. Why? Because you have different experiences now than you did then, right? So now you can take it like, okay, now I see where Daddy's trying to go. He's trying to build something that's going to carry on when he's gone. And it ain't going to be just about, oh, he used to dress a certain way, or he used to drive a certain car. Oh, no, he built this so that you could have something. And when you came into the world, you wouldn't be considered came into the world in hell. You came into the world with some money. You came into the world with an investment. You came into the world, you know what I mean? That's what I'm
Taken
saying.
care of.
Yeah, you already taken care of when you come into this world. That's what I'm trying to create here as a legacy.
Right.
Make sense? So now, my next initial question, and I've really respected and honored you guys. The more we do this, the more I find out how intelligent you guys are, how eloquent you guys speak. You know, it's like sometimes we just joking and playing and having us a good time. I don't get to see that part all the time, right? You know what I mean? So I'm really enjoying it. Here it is. As males, I have different descriptions of a male. You tell me which one you believe you are. So the alpha male tending to assume a dominant or domineering role in social or professional situations. That's the alpha. The gamma, he's an intelligent, romantic, empathetic man, right? We got the beta male, a man tending to assume a passive or role in a social or professional situation. Like he's a passive male, right? He don't trip, he don't make big deals out of things. Then you got the omegas, is a man in a social group or prefers to work alone and doesn't want to be the leader or the most prominent member of the group, right? And then we also have the sigmas, a man who is popular, successful, but also independent and self-reliant, right? So if I made it clear reading those, which one do you think your category would be?
It's kind of hard for me because I feel like three of them do.
Yeah,
I'd say gamma, omega, and sigma are kind of like my more personality traits. Because I'm more like kind of to myself, but like I can be like in groups with people, but I don't want to be like
The leader.
Yeah, I don't need to be like the person that's in control, or like I can go with the flow.
Yeah.
So it's like I would say omega or sigma more so because
Omega.
I would say less on the me being more self-successful, but I'm more individual.
Yeah.
So like I do everything for myself. I kind of take care of myself. I make sure I'm good.
I mean, for me, I would say it's kind of a mix too. You know? I'd say like alpha and beta and gamma. I can see myself in all three of those.
Yeah.
But for me, it's kind of hard because certain situations you have to be like, you can be the leader. You can be, laid back or, just passive.
Yeah.
So I think one, being a younger brother, I've always just, been passive, just been there really. So when it is time to, be in charge or whatever,
Yeah.
it's kind of different for me. It's not a bad thing, but it's a little different, and I can do it, so it's not a problem. So I would say it's kind of a mix of all of them.
I can
Yeah.
agree with you. I can
Mhm.
see that from
Me
for
too.
sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That make a lot of sense because
Little bro.
like
What about you, Jay?
For me, it's like since just because I'm the oldest brother don't make me automatically alpha. It don't make me automatically any of those things. But like Kari said, I think it just depends the situation. Like if like just say you at work, you can still be an alpha male, or because you got bosses and you got team leaders and you got people in certain positions. So you can still be your own man and not be passive or whatever, because at some point somebody's going to have to tell you what to do or give you instructions on something. You're going to have to listen.
Yeah.
So being an alpha, omega, I feel like I can be all four of them
Yeah.
at some point in everybody's life, because when you become like when you get married, let's just say you get married or something, you get a family, you kind of tone it down just a little bit.
Yeah.
And it kind of balances out. You want to balance out your life even more like that. You don't want to be just seem like you in control of every situation, but you got to have somebody got to have a voice too.
Yeah. I think, and that you guys saying you think you have a little bit of that, and I think we all can maybe say yes to that at times, but for me, I believe there's going to be one of them that's who you are, right? Like it doesn't matter what situation you in, you're going to be that guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so for me, I see Omega or Alpha for me, right? Like I see, because Omega is a man in a social group who prefers work alone. No, I'm sorry. Not Omega, that's not it. It's Sigma, a man who is popular, successful, but also independent and self-reliant. I feel like I've been that way for a long time, all my life as I can go back. I feel like that's just a trait of mine. And then Alpha, a man tending to assume a dominant or domineering role in social or professional situations. That's just my nature. Mm-hmm. Like I don't wake up and say, this is who I'm going to be today, right? Mm-hmm. Or when I go to work or go to this relationship or do whatever, I'm going to do this and change who I am. I think the character of those two is who I am, mm-hmm. right? It's a nature of mine. Now there is times where I would have to be, passive. I would have to be patient. I would have to be, but that's something I have to work on.
Yeah. Do you
right?
think that's necessarily the traits for whichever one, or do you think that's just something that people have to do?
What do you mean?
Like, whether you're alpha, omega, anything, the alpha has had to come down for a second. So is that?
I think an alpha has to, but not necessarily. If that's who he is, then those around him will have to, because a lion don't have to change being the king of the jungle, right? Everybody else has to adapt to him, right?
Okay.
So,
but then I would say you're more of an alpha then.
That's what I said, Alpha and Sigma. I kind of feel like those two are me, right? Mm-hmm. And so everybody else have to adjust to me, right? If you go to where LeBron plays, who they have to adjust around. Right? Right, and even if he is one of those ones where he don't do a lot of shooting, but he passes, you got to adjust to the way that he's making these adjustments. You got to adjust to it, right?
Mm-hmm. The number one option to go.
Yeah.
To.
So if you so sometimes who you are, you don't do the adjustments. People will come around you to adjust themselves around you, depending on your character, right?
And that's why I can say I'm more of like a Sigma, because I'm kind of reliant on myself, so nobody really has to come to me or wait for me to make a move for them to make a decision. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't think I've never really given off alpha.
And that's the honor of that is you're respecting and knowing that. So those things I put out there is to just kind of help you see you and continue to create yourself. Like I think one of you guys was saying it, is that legacy is whoever you are, right? So those things are going to help you become who you are, not who the world says you need to be as a man, not who TV, social media says you need to be as a husband or a brother or uncle. Who you are is going to make your individual, make you the individual you are. It's going to make you the person that gives you that he's different,
Mm-hmm.
and there's something about him. But they ain't gotta say it's something about him. They gonna see, oh, that's what it is about him. He gonna come in here and just automatic direct traffic. Oh no, he just gonna come in here and sit down and be quiet. He ain't gonna say much. Now he gonna soak up all the information, and then you gonna hear him say something. And then when he do talk, he gonna sound very intellectual, right? It just depends, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I say, you know, you have to look in the mirror and see you. And if those were some of the characteristics that you can start learning to see yourself. Now, a lot of people don't believe in zodiacs, and a lot of people don't believe in astrology. But I feel like there's some truth in that, right?
I do too.
And so
Sure.
I don't get into the where if you believe in that, you believe in the devil, or you believe in evil, you believe in that. When in the ancient history or historical times, they didn't have books, they didn't have all that. So what did they have? They had to know if they seen something, a certain type of weather happen, that means a flood was coming. They had to know that a certain type of way the birds were flying, that a certain type of weather was coming in, right? So why do we take that as something evil when that's what
People have been doing.
so, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So look at yourself and say, hey, I am this is who I am. If I have to make some adjustments, add to, take away, but I'm not going to take away who I am. Because then you'd be what we call fake or lame or whatever, right? You're not being your true self.
Right.
So-
What do you, not to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
But who do you, like, what do you see out of us as you being the father?
I see, so if I had to describe Alpha, I don't feel like tending to assume dominant role in social, or I think because some of you saw that in me, you took up on that responsibility when you felt like you needed to, but I don't think it's just who you are, right? Like Jay will come into the domineering protective role because he's the big brother, right? If he come y'all out somewhere and somebody's getting disrespectful to the sisters or whatever, he'll step up and do it, right? But I don't think that's just his total character, right? So I don't see that being you guys just taking it down. I've seen Corey doing it here in the last year or so because he has sisters, and I'm pressing the gas on it like, hey, I'm gone. You need to make sure the door's locked. You need to be making sure you seeing what these girls is doing or what's happening. Like, you don't know nothing when I come home. So I think that has become, okay, I am next in line. Jay's gone, Quavion's gone, so now it's my turn to step up. Daddy ain't here. So I think he's been taking on that role because, you know, he's kind of like, that's what's expected. You know, it's expected to do it. They don't have to do it, but that's what we lay on you guys, right? We lay certain things on you saying, hey, because you're the big brother, or because you're the this, you're supposed to do it. But that's just something we created in that home. That don't mean it has to be the truth, because everybody don't do that, right?
Right.
But in that home, I've created that to be that way. You need to step up and become responsible, right? So then we have Sigmas, a man who is popular, successful, but also independent and self-reliant. I think you have a part of that where you was popular and successful in a way where you was athletic, you was this, a lot of the people knew you at the school and this and that and other. Also independent, you didn't really like asking for much, saying much, and that's the part I really didn't like as a child, because if you knew you needed something, you need to say something.
Right.
You know, but dealing with the father you have, it's always like, I got to figure it out on my own. And that's being too independent for me, right? And then self-reliant. You try to figure it out on your own, those things. I think that part was you. Now, popular, I don't believe you was that popular, and what I mean popular and successful meaning in that area, right? As sports or whatever. Now, Corey, I felt like he was popular because I went to certain games or different things with him, and I would see, and this is just me, but I would see dudes come up, shake his hand, and girls come up, give him hugs. And I was like, boy, you popular? And he was, right? Everybody knew his name. They liked his little swag when he found his little swag, things of that nature. So I can say that. Now, Gamma, intelligent, romantic, and empathetic. Now, I don't know how romantic or empathetic, neither one of y'all, but I know every one of y'all have an intellect. That's why I say now, when you guys be able to share yourselves in this moment in time, I'm starting to hear it come out more and more and more, the intellect, and it just blows my mind, because sometimes it makes us like bulls together. Like, I'm trying to say this and this and that and other, and now you have to share that you have intellect, you have experience, and now you trying to let me know, hey, I see it different. I see, you know what I'm saying? It's becoming, you letting me know, hey, I've learned some things throughout these years. You know what I'm saying? It ain't only just what you told me and showed me. I got some experience. I've seen some things. I've been through some stuff.
Been up the
Right?
road a little
Yeah.
bit.
So I think y'all got that part. Beta, a man tending to assume a passive or subservient role in social or professional situation. Passive. Yeah, I think y'all got that. I think y'all get a little passive. Now maybe y'all can tell me why y'all think that is.
Why we were passive?
Yeah.
I think we're passive because you kind of.
Yeah.
We kind of had to be passive, and then on top of that, we had
Jay.
Jay. So like, Jay had to be passive because he had to.
So it kind of just went down.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of trickled down. So it's not a passive because we just want to be like, we're not.
Right.
I'm pretty sure we're not passive to our friends or like women or anything.
Yeah.
We're just passive to the people we know are above us.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
I got you.
I feel like just me being around my brothers forever, every dude or every like male figure that has spoken to us,
Yeah.
there's a different level of, because there might be a dude that talk to us and we go around and be like, that fool crazy. You know what I'm saying? But like, if we talking to somebody that we know's got some knowledge or something,
Yeah.
we'll passively just let him
Yeah,
talk.
and
you
I
know?
respect that about y'all too. I think I told Jay that one time we was talking and the conversation was going left. But every time I would say, hold on, he would just stop and honor that and respect it and let me say what I got to say.
Mhm.
So, but, you know, here it is, y'all. We at that time where we're about to end it. Great talk with you guys, great dialogue. I appreciate it.
Sure.
We at that hour where
Yeah.
we're about to end it. So we like to just thank everybody for being in attendance with us. We ask that you guys continue to support if you want to support financially, our Cash App is a money sign sharp on all four corners. Also, we want to give a shout out to our family, our friends. I just want to give a shout out to my sons. And also, I just want to let everybody know that we love you and peace.
See ya.
Ain't no-
Yeah.